Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 296 based on novel. So let's start. Master Hollowwind looked at the palace in the center and slowly said, "This old man once learned from Ling Qianhu that there was a celestial soul guarding the celestial cave. He put a lot effort into killing the celestial soul to finally occupy the celestial cave." Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he moved forward without hesitation. He stepped past the stone bridge and entered the inner part of the stone palace. The moment he closed in, the endless sea of flowers moved and the fragrance of the flowers rushed at him. It smelled like stone and contained abnormal poison. Master Hollowwind revealed a strange expression as he quickly retreated and said, "Rain poison fragrance. I once looked at some celestial realm records, and one of them talked about the poisons of the celestial realm. It ranked the top 100 poisons and gave a brief description of each one. After refining countless flowers, there are two types of poisons that can be formed. One of them is this rain poison fragrance. If you smell it, your cultivation immediately becomes unstable, and if you inhale a few more breaths, you will lose all your cultivation." The three Chen brothers' expressions changed slightly, but they didn't retreat. After all, they were Nirvana Scryer cultivators, so they had methods to guard against it. Wang Lin looked at the sea of flowers before him and calmly asked, "What is the second?" The second, there was a trace of shock in Master Hollowwind's eyes and he said, "The rain poison fragrance is only ranked 93, but the other poison named flower spirit is ranked 49. After withdrawing his gaze from the flowers, Wang Lin waved his right hand and a strange wind swept the area. However, Wang Lin was surprised to find that the poison wasn't affected by the strange wind at all. It was as if it had no form and still flowed toward them. Interesting. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, but he didn't retreat. When the fragrance arrived, he calmly said, "Silver corpse." After he spoke, the woman in silver moved past the three Chen brothers and charged at the flower fragrance. When Wang Lin refined this corpse, he came to understand this corpse very well. It didn't have amazing spells, and for magic treasures, it only had that pair of scissors. Her real power was in poison. Back when the silver corpse was seriously injured and Wang Lin stole it, many other cultivators had similar ideas. However, they had all the flesh and blood in their bodies devoured until they were only bags of bones. Wang Lin had always thought that this was some kind of spell, but it wasn't until when he was refining her that he found it was a poison. While studying her, he found out that this silver corpse had extremely powerful poison in her. The poison was very diverse and could be mixed to form various terrifying poisons. As a result, the silver corpse became a poison corpse in Wang Lin's eyes. Poison was where the true power of this silver corpse lied. With her early-stage Nirvana cleanser cultivation and the poison in her body, if it wasn't for the fact that Wang Lin had the body of an ancient god, dealing with her would have been a headache and he wouldn't have carelessly provoked her. At this moment, the silver corpse charged directly into the flower fragrance. The poison that could immediately cause one's cultivation to weaken and even kill weaker cultivators had no effect on the silver corpse. The silver corpse opened her small mouth and inhaled. It was as if a vortex had formed, and the flower fragrance was all sucked into her mouth. During this process, the invisible flower fragrance unexpectedly took physical form. Large amounts of gas flew off the flowers and quickly entered the silver corpse's mouth. The silver corpse originally had a pale face, but her face turned unexpectedly rosy, and she now looked no different than a living person. As Wang Lin watched all of this, his eyes remained neutral. His gaze wasn't on the silver corpse but on the flowers because they were very strange. There was no reason for this, but it was the first feeling he got when saw the flowers. Just at this moment, a large amount of silk appeared from one of the flowers, and within the silk was a girl. This girl was naked and her eyes revealed a ghostly light. She was kneeling, but her head was raised high. If it was just her, it wouldn't have been a big deal, but at this moment, silk exploded from other flowers, and more girls appeared one by one. The moment they appeared, Wang Lin clearly saw that there was a skeleton buried below each flower. What kind of sea of flowers was this? This was clearly a burial ground. Flower spirit. Master Hollowwind had a face full of bitterness. He looked at the girls hugging their knees while looking up at the sky and bitterly smiled. I didn't think that the inside of this cave would have such a powerful protection. You bury celestials to form the spirit, and the spirit nourishes the flower to become a flower celestial. According to the records, where there are flower spirits, there might be a flower celestial. Flower celestials aren't celestials, but a poison. It is a poison with intelligence, and it can take human form. The poison of the flower celestial is ranked number 10. Master Hollow Wind slowly explained. The eyes of the girls hugging their knees released a ghostly light, then they all stood up and charged at the silver corpse in the air. According to the records, these flower spirits were all mortal girls that were fed unique drugs until they basically became living pills. Then they were collectively buried here with a special method. Several years later, a sea of flowers formed, and there is a certain chance they could fuse into a flower celestial. In the celestial realm, the flower celestial was an extremely precious poison because it could take human form, and so it was favored by the celestials. They would often get them to guard their caves or have fun with. Master Hollow Wind was worthy of being someone who had been cultivating for countless years. His understanding of celestials was very good, and the things he spoke so calmly about would shock most people. This was the first time the three Chen brothers had heard of this, and they couldn't help but be silent while looking at the girls charging at the silver corpse. They didn't pity them, they were shocked by how cruel the celestials were. Even Big Head gasped and silently pondered. In contrast, while Wang Lin's expression was gloomy, he wasn't shocked. In truth, after he learned Call the Wind, Summon the Rain, and Magic Arsenal, he understood that the celestial realm was no haven. He wouldn't revere the celestial like some cultivators did. From looking at Celestial Emperor Bai Fan's spells, he could tell that Bai Fan was not a righteous person. To be able to become a Celestial Emperor with self-created spells that were almost on the demonic path already showed what was wrong. It was just as Blood God had said, what kind of celestial spell is this? It is clearly a demonic spell. If Bai Fan was like this, Qing Lin was the same. The puppet refining method from the jade was extremely tyrannical to refine a living person. Wang Lin had already seen through it all. There was no haven for cultivators. Even the celestial realm was the same. After hearing Master Hollow Wind's words, he looked at the flower spirits. These girls had no expressions, but there was a resentment hidden in their eyes. This resentment was suppressed under a ghostly light and was unable to be released. As a result, it became gradually more powerful over the years. At this moment, these girls circled the silver corpse. As their eyes released a ghostly light, the resentment erupted. This resentment was so extremely strong that it was shocking. The resentment formed an impact and headed straight for the silver corpse. From Wang Lin's point of view, the girls surrounded the silver corpse and pulled her body as if they wanted to assimilate her. However, the silver corpse was already a corpse. Her eyes lit up and she spat out white fog. The flower spirits that touched the white fog immediately collapsed and disappeared into the fog. As the white fog spread, it covered almost the entire inner cave. As the flower spirits disappeared one by one, the flowers on the ground withered. Just at this moment, a sharp cry came from the depths of the palace. The earth shook and the 10 celestial soldiers outside began to move. They turned into 10 rays of golden light that shot into the sky. They were obviously trying to stop the silver corpse from absorbing the flower spirits. Without Wang Lin having to give the order, Master Hollow Wind's eyes lit up and he charged out. While his mountain-like body flew out, he waved his sleeves. With a bang, 3 of the Xian gold soldiers were separated from the pack to become his prey. The 3 Chen brothers all charged forward and dealt with one each. Big Head sneered and then charged forward. His lean body became even skinner and all the flesh condensed on his head. Soon, his head was twice as big as before and the veins on his face bulged. A moment later, one of the veins shot out and wrapped around one of the soldiers. Then he dragged the soldier with him to the side. The cave was in chaos as the silver corpse continued to absorb the white fog. At the same time, Master Hollow Wind and company battled the soldiers on the ground. These soldiers didn't know pain and their bodies were extremely tough. There were flashes of golden light when they attacked, and each of their punches contained the power of a spell. Almost every single celestial soldier was no weaker than a peak corporeal young cultivator. Along with their terrifying bodies, they could battle Nirvana Scryer cultivators. Seeing that there were still 3 soldiers left, Master Yi Chen let out a cold shot and charged out. He blocked one of the soldiers and waved his big sleeves to push it back. He was now battling 2 soldiers. Master Yi Long and Master Yi Xiong had the same idea. With Master Yi Long temporarily holding off 2 soldiers, Master Yi Xiong charged out at the remaining 2 soldiers. His hands formed a seal, then he grabbed one and threw it toward Master Yi Long. As a result, there was only 1 soldier left. Just as the soldier was about to charge into the white fog, Master Hollowwind's eyes lit up. His hand reached out, causing the soldier to tremble, and pulled it back. Master Hollowwind was now battling for celestial soldiers. Although these 10 celestial soldiers had powerful bodies, it wasn't difficult for Master Hollowwind and company. Wang Lin felt lucky when he saw this. If he hadn't fled the demon spirit land back then and was determined to break the restrictions, then even if he had reached this point, he would have had no way of dealing with the flower spirit or celestial soldiers. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he walked toward the palace at the center. However, before he even got close, a shocking change occurred. At this instant, the 4 towers became blurry in Wang Lin's and became illusions. At the same time, powerful lights came from the illusions. The powerful lights fused and turned into a tortoise shell that surrounded the palace. From a distance, it was as if a giant tortoise shell was covering the palace. At the same time, 4 strands of green smoke came from the tortoise shell and turned into 4 green-robed elders. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he looked at the 4 elders. They were all souls with cultivation levels between early and mid-stage Nirvana Scryer. The 4 elders all had the air of celestials and gave off dense celestial spiritual energy. One of them had eyes like lightning as he stared at Wang Lin and shouted, "Lower realm dirt, you dare to invade the celestial cave? Your punishment is death." After he spoke, he didn't even give Wang Lin time to explain before he stepped forward and pointed up at the sky. All the celestial spiritual energy inside the cave gathered to form a vortex in his hand. This vortex collapsed as the old man pointed at it, but then a roar came out from within. A beast charged out of the collapsed vortex. This beast was covered in black fur. It was obviously a huge primal ape. It was about 10 feet tall, and it directly lunged at Wang Lin. The old man moved with a gloomy expression. He turned into a ray of green light and charged at Wang Lin behind the primal ape. The 3 other elders also moved. One of them raised his hand, causing a storm of sand and dirt to appear. The storm took the shape of a python that attempted to devour Wang Lin. Another person extended their arm, and the arm turned into green smoke. As the celestial spiritual energy in the cave gathered, he turned into a giant eagle that shot toward Wang Lin like lightning. The final elder's eyes lit up and his hands formed a seal. He pointed up at the sky and shouted, "Celestial mountain attack!" The moment he spoke, rumbling sound came from the cave and then a large mountain appeared and smashed down on Wang Lin. In an instant, the 4 elders attacked at the same time. Their celestial spells worked together with the intent to kill. Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly, and instead of retreating, he charged forward. As the ape closed in, Wang Lin's right hand formed a fist and he threw a punch. A loud rumble appeared with this punch, and as they passed each other, Wang Lin's fist hit the chest of the ape. Rumbling sounds came from the giant ape's upper body and then it quickly retreated. However, it only retreated 3 steps before the upper half of its body exploded. Without pausing, Wang Lin jumped into the air. He pointed down and calmly said, "Wither Dao Pair." After he spoke, the Wither Dao Pair on the back of his hand released a dark glow and flew out. A grim beast skull flew out filled with black mist. A ghostly light came from the eyes of the beast skull. At this instant, a shocking killing aura appeared, and as the ghostly light shined, grey light covered the giant eagle that was charging at Wang Lin. In an instant, the eagle turned into a stone statue. At this moment, the black python closed in. It opened its mouth and a powerful suction force came out. A powerful smell of blood drifted from its mouth as it attempted to devour Wang Lin. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes as he retreated, slapped his bag of holding, and shouted, 3 sets of 9 swords. Golden swords immediately flew out of his bag and floated around him. There were 27 swords. The moment the 27 swords appeared, they organized into a sword formation and shot toward the giant python. Boom, 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 boom. As the shocking rumbles echoed, the python was surrounded by the 27 swords. The swords rapidly pierced through the python, causing it to let out bursts of miserable cries. Although all this sounds slow, it all happened in an instant. The inner cave suddenly darkened as the celestial mountain penetrated the white fog and smashed down. Wang Lin's expression remained neutral as he spat out an item. It was the 18 Hell Celestial Sealing Stamp. The moment it appeared, it grew and charged at the celestial mountain. It collided with the mountain with a bang. Taking advantage of this moment, there was a flash of killing intent in Wang Lin's eyes and he shouted, "Call the wind." All of a sudden, the world changed colors, then a black wind appeared in Wang Lin's hand and covered the world. 4 black dragons immediately appeared within the black wind and charged out with roars. The expression of Old Man that had summoned the giant ape changed greatly and he shouted, "By fan spell." He didn't hesitate to retreat, but he was too late. One of the black dragons devoured him. Of the remaining 3, aside from the one that summoned the mountain, the other 2 weren't able to escape and were devoured by the black dragons. All of this happened too quickly. The remaining elder retreated and landed on the tortoise. He chanted a strange spell and then light flowed into him from the shell like water. Seeing the old man's aura increase, how could Wang Lin let him do as he wished? Wang Lin raised his right hand and said, "Stop." At this instant, the old man felt like he had entered a trance, and he clearly felt his body get surrounded by countless invisible threads. He muttered, "Stop spell." He had a strange expression and was about to speak when the last black dragon devoured him. Wang Lin saw the strange expression that appeared on the old man's face, but this wasn't the time to think about it. Wang Lin arrived before the tortoise shell and raised his right hand. He formed a fist, and the illusion of an ancient god arm appeared. He mercilessly smashed down on the tortoise shell below him. There was a loud rumble, as if the entire cave was trembling, and countless cracks appeared on the ground. The tortoise shell flickered violently but showed no sign of breaking. At this moment, Master Hollow Wind and company had finished off the celestial soldiers and the silver corpse had finished absorbing the flower spirits. Her face was rosy, and she seemed to have undergone a mysterious change. Break this formation. With one order from Wang Lin, everyone used their various spells with the shell as their target. As the thunderous rumbles echoed, the tortoise shell flickered once more. The stone bridge started to collapse and was soon completely destroyed. However, the tortoise shell remained intact and had only dimmed a little. Wang Lin frowned and was secretly shocked. The protective ability of this tortoise shell was beyond his expectations. Neither his own ancient god fist nor the attacks of many old monsters caused the tortoise shell to collapse. I don't know if the celestial caves that the Allseer and Ling Qianhu went into also had shells like this. If they had the shell too, how did they break it? Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he looked to the tortoise shell. Not only was he shocked, even Master Hollow Wind and company were shocked, and their gazes gathered on the tortoise shell. Just as everyone looked at the tortoise shell, it began to flash and gradually revealed the palace within. The palace was completely dark, making it impossible to see inside, but there were footsteps coming out from inside. The cave was quiet, so although the footsteps were light, they could clearly hear them. These footsteps had a strange force, and when their sounds entered everyone's ears, they unexpectedly synchronized with their heartbeats. It was as if every step was stepping on their hearts. Master Hollow Wind's expression changed and the origin energy inside his body cycled rapidly to finally separate his heartbeat from the sounds of the footsteps. However, the 3 Chen brothers, Big Head, and Lei Ji didn't have the cultivation to do this. As the footsteps closed in, their faces turned pale. Only the silver corpse remained normal. She was a corpse with intelligence, so without a heartbeat, she wasn't affected. Wang Lin's expression gradually became gloomy. He had the body of an ancient god, so he could withstand this level of mental attack. The footsteps became more and more clear, as if someone was walking out from the depths of the palace. The three Chen brothers' faces became even more pale and the veins on Big Head's head swelled up. Lei Ji had the lowest cultivation level. His body trembled and he retreated a few steps, but he still couldn't endure it. He let out a roar and his body expanded to few hundred feet tall to finally be able to endure it. The footsteps seemed to have reached the entrance of the palace. At this moment, a white figure appeared from within the palace. A ray of light pierced through the tortoise shell and landed on Wang Lin. A sense of life and death crisis that hadn't appeared in a long time suddenly surrounded Wang Lin like a storm. It caused all the hair on his body to stand up. Wang Lin's current cultivation was not the same as before, so not many situations could make him feel danger, especially after he became a 5-star royal ancient god. Unless the enemy's cultivation level was late-stage Nirvana cleanser or above, it would be impossible for Wang Lin to feel a strong sense of danger. However, the moment the white figure appeared, Wang Lin's sense of crisis reached a peak. Wang Lin hadn't experienced the feeling of all his hair standing up in a while now. His pupils shrank and he subconsciously retreated a few steps. The blue light in his eyes shined as he stared at the white figure. A quiet sigh came from inside the palace. The white figure walked out, and what appeared before Wang Lin and company was a beautiful woman. This woman was very beautiful, almost to a demonic level. Even though Liu Mai didn't lose in appearance, she lacked an unspeakable feeling. It was as if this woman was a flower of the world. She would bloom and wither along with the world. She only showed half her body. After her gaze swept past Wang Lin, she looked at everyone else before retreating. However, just a glance had caused Wang Lin feel as if a hammer had mercilessly smashed his heart. He felt a buzz in his head and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. Then he retreated a few dozen feet and his expression became gloomy. If Wang Lin was like this, everyone else was worse off. Master Hollowwind's eyes widened and became bloodshot before he coughed out a mouthful of blood. His mountain-like body trembled and rapidly shrank until he was only half of his original size. Large amounts of origin energy entered his mind as he retreated dozens of feet before he stopped. His face was pale and he was aghast by the situation as he shouted, "Flower Celestial!" The three Chen brothers weren't able to resist at all. With one glance, Master Yi Chen's eyes went unfocused and the sounds of things popping came from his chest. He coughed out a large mouthful of blood and fell from the sky. At that moment, the panic in his eyes reached a peak. As for Master Yi Xiong and Master Yi Long, it was as if their hearts were pierced, and blood spewed out from their pores, soaking their clothes in blood. They fell from the sky and began to cultivate without hesitation. Big Head and Lei Ji were the same. Lei Ji's large body wasn't able to withstand the shock to his mind. He knelt down on the ground and his face was ashen. Only the silver corpse remained normal, but there was a flash of strange light in her eyes. Just one glance contained such terrifying power, and this made Wang Lin gloomy. This was merely one of the 4 outer caves, but it was already so dangerous. Once they entered the final cave, it was obvious there would be danger at every corner. I fear this trip to the Demon Spirit Land will be the most dangerous trip I, Wang Lin, have made in my life. Wang Lin had anticipated danger, but he didn't think that their power would be a bit lacking in just the outer cave with the people he brought. Seeing the white figure disappear back into the darkness of the palace, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. With his intelligence, he obviously knew that that gaze was a warning. Warning them, especially Wang Lin, to not enter. If it was any other time, Wang Lin would choose to avoid this place after facing such a warning and powerful attack. After all, what he was doing now was same as invading someone's cave. However, this was a trip Wang Lin had to make. All of this was for Zhu Yi. His greatest wish was to revive Qing Shuang, and the one with the best chance to revive her was her father, Qing Lin. Wang Lin still felt grateful toward Zhu Yi, like how he felt grateful toward Sichu Nan. Sichu Nan had helped Wang Lin get on the path to become a cultivator, and Zhu Yi had played a critical role in his cultivation. If not for Zhu Yi's ascendant crystal, Wang Lin would have already died along the path of cultivation. Moreover, although the poison inside Sichu Nan was suppressed for now, both of them knew that if it was not dealt with, the consequences would be extremely serious. It could be said that the hopes of both of his most important benefactors, Sichu and Zhu Yi, were all here. Even if it was dangerous, he could not choose to retreat. Even if he had to invade someone else's cave and do unjust things, Wang Lin would have no regrets. In this world, it was hard to say who was right or wrong. As long as he was helping Ju Yi and Sichu Nan, to him, he was in the right. However, for the white figure in the palace, the person who invaded the cave was in the wrong. Since I made the choice, then I must walk down this path. Wang Lin took a deep breath as he stood before the tortoise shell, and his right hand reached toward the void. A thunderous rumble echoed across the cave as if a spatial rift was opened inside it. As the cold wind blew, strands of black light began to gather. Soon, the illusion of a spear appeared in Wang Lin's hand. Large amounts of thunder filled the area and crackling sounds echoed inside the quiet cave. At this moment, the shadow of an ancient god appeared behind Wang Lin. As he grabbed the god-slaying spear, the ancient god shadow also reached out, and there was a loud rumble. A god-slaying spear unexpectedly appeared in the shadow's hand as well. A powerful surge of origin energy filled the cave. As Wang Lin took a deep breath and lifted the god-slaying spear, the gravel on the ground began floating into the air. Not only the gravel, but even the water in the river seemed to stop flowing and floated into the air. Debris from the 4 broken towers also floated into the air. At this moment, the entire cave became strange. I don't wish to hurt anyone. Even the 4 souls earlier were just remnants and not the original bodies. Even now, I only want to break this shell and open the passage to the cave. Wang Lin's third eye slowly appeared, and hidden under the third eye, the 5 stars rotated rapidly. The power of an ancient god filled Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin's body suddenly moved and then the god-slaying spear gently moved. As the spear moved, it was as if space itself was being sliced through. Holding the god-slaying spear, Wang Lin moved like lightning toward the tortoise shell. When Wang Lin got near, determination filled his eyes and he shouted, "Master Hollow Wind, Silver Corpse, help me break the shell." Master Hollow Wind clenched his teeth and moved. His body rapidly shrank until he was the size of a normal person. Then his body released a golden glow and a giant stone tablet appeared. There were many runes on this stone tablet, and it gave off a golden glow. When Master Hollow Wind pointed forward, the stone tablet whistled through the air toward the tortoise shell. There was a loud bang when the stone tablet smashed down on the shell, causing it to flash violently. The silver corpse spat out a 5-colored smoke that headed straight for the tortoise shell. The 5-colored smoke covered the tortoise shell and started to melt it. The tortoise shell began to flash even more violently. At this moment, Wang Lin mercilessly threw the god-slaying spear down. This god-slaying spear was like a mad dragon that whistled through the air toward the tortoise shell. It was so fast that the tip of the spear touched the tortoise shell almost instantly. A circular ripple suddenly spread out from the spear and caused a loud rumble. At the same time, fine cracks appeared on the shell where the spear collided. The moment the cracks appeared, the 5-colored smoke entered the cracks. Adding the impact of the golden stone tablet, the cracks became even larger until the shell completely collapsed. When it collapsed, the entire palace was lit up. The pieces of shells were all pushed back by the force. The god-slaying spear was currently displaying all the power Wang Lin could release with it. After breaking through the tortoise shell, it shot toward the palace under it. Along with it was the 5-colored smoke. However, at that moment, the sense of crisis that made Wang Lin's hair stand on end appeared once more. This time it was even stronger than before. A white palm extended out from the palace and pointed at the god-slaying spear. Countless flowers of various colors appeared in the sky. There were so many that they immediately covered the sky and stopped the god-slaying spear. As for the 5-colored smoke, it immediately turned into a 5-colored flower that floated in the air. The white figure walked out and raised her beautiful hand. She coldly stared at Wang Lin and pointed at him. At this instant, Wang Lin's pupils suddenly shrank, then he opened his mouth and spat something out. It was the protection treasure Master Flame's Park had gifted him, a Thunder Celestial Realm fragment. There were some cracks on the fragment that were caused by the All-Seer's spell. At this moment, the celestial fragment flew out and immediately grew until it was 1,000 feet wide. It was like a shield protecting Wang Lin. However, right when the celestial fragment appeared, Countless flowers bloomed on the fragment. These flowers were all extremely gorgeous, and they released a nice fragrance. I have already warned you. A soft but extremely cold voice echoed. Just as this sound appeared, the celestial fragment covered in flowers suddenly shattered. This video will end here.